Noisy.
I owe it to the Neptunia series for introducing me to niche RPGs back on the PlayStation 3. I find myself still enjoying this series' quirky take on the video game industry led by a truly enjoyable, perhaps a bit annoying at times, Neptune. Megadimension Neptunia VII was first released on PlayStation 4 in 2016 and is now landing on the Nintendo Switch for Nep fans everywhere to take on the go. However, the port seems to be more geared towards those who haven't played it yet since there's really nothing new to report.
Let's start the tutorial battle. Everyone, use this fight to learn the basics, alright? Okay, it's a promise.
Megadimension Neptunia VII has a really good story for those with the time to invest themselves in it. The game takes place across 3 different dimensions which are visited throughout the narrative. We are first introduced to a newcomer Uzume who resides in the 0 dimension, which has gone to hell. Regardless, Neptune and Nepgear show up to lend some help, which paves the way for the entire adventure. As optimistic as Neptune is during many of the story scenarios, once the game's antagonist R4 and the criminal syndicate Alphamex are introduced, things get pretty heavy. The climax of the story builds up these heroes in a way that makes the entire experience worth it as you witness how they overcome world-ending plots. It's for this reason that I feel the Switch version is the best way to play this game. There's just a lot of story content here, and being able to ingest that little by little while you're on the go actually works in its favor. Although the narrative is strong for this entry, the dungeon designs haven't aged well. Each dungeon is like a maze with similar halls and rooms that will cause you to get lost easily. Very little creativity went into the level design, which makes them almost indistinguishable from each other and makes them rather dull. However, the battle system holds up surprisingly well, which made me miss the turn-based roots of the series after more recent entries tried new things. In battle, characters approach enemies to land a series of attacks, which players can customize. A skill can also be used that causes high damage but uses SP. This entry also has enemies who have armor, which need to be broken to cause more damage, along with boss battles that are regarded as giant battles. The only difference here is that characters can be positioned around the boss and must use skills to cause damage. It ends up being fun to watch play out given how cool some of the attack animations are. Looking at the Nintendo Switch port was actually pretty disappointed. There's nothing new here for returning fans, which ends up making some initial pain points more significant. There's a lack of an autosave feature, which sucks if you forget to save before a boss or spend an hour grinding levels without saving and accidentally die. Also, even though it's possible to skip attack animations, I feel like the port could have benefited from a speed increase option. Furthermore, I think a more casual difficulty option would have benefited for those who just want to breeze through the gameplay to enjoy the story. Currently, there hasn't been a difficulty option for this game in any version of it. As for the Switch version itself, you can expect some frame drops when entering a dungeon along with longer than usual load times. There is an option in the settings that can help with this, but I didn't really feel like it hurt my experience overall. Sadly, this does not contain the enhancements found in V2R. Megadimension Neptunia V2 also has some unique systems within its overworld where players can build routes and explore different dimensions. Every main quest is marked on the map, so you'll always know where you need to go. Other options include both Japanese and English audio, along with the ability to autoplay through scenes. Pretty basic overall. Megadimension Neptunia V2 on Switch is perfect to play if you haven't already experienced this entry. The narrative holds up, but the same can be said for the dungeon design. The state of the Switch port is lacking modern quality of life updates, which does hurt the user experience, but the battle system still retains its fun factor and makes this a decent RPG experience on the go. Noisy Pixels giving Megadimension Neptunia V2 on Nintendo Switch a 6.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.